Welcome everybody. What I'm going to show you is lesson 1.10, which the essential question was, how can you use numerical expressions to describe a situation? Here we start out with a very basic situation. It says a coach has 5 basketballs, he buys 3 more. Well, what we want to do is we want to write a numerical expression that would fit this situation. Okay, and we would know that the coach has 5 basketballs. Right? He goes and he buys 3 more. If he's buying 3 more, that means that it's adding to the amount of basketballs that he has, which would wind up giving us 8. But the numerical expression that we need to come up with for this situation is 5 plus 3. He has 5 basketballs. He buys 3 more. If he's buying 3 more, that means he's adding 3 more. And it's a very basic expression, 5 plus 3. Okay, now here's another pretty basic situation. It says Annie has 6 heart stickers. She gives 2 to her friend. Well, we start with what we know. We know Annie has 6 heart stickers. Now, if Annie is giving 2 heart stickers to her friend, that means she's going to wind up with less heart stickers than what she started with. If she's giving them away, we're going to have to subtract those 2 heart stickers. She has 6, she gives 2 of them away. That's going to be 6 minus 2 is the expression that we need to use to show and to describe this situation. Here's our next situation. It says there are 3 rows of flowers in a garden. Each row has 3 flowers. Okay, we start with what we know. We know that there are going to be 3 rows of flowers. Now each row has 3 flowers. Like I told you in class, this word each can sometimes give us a clue that it's a certain kind of operation. So what we're doing, we have 3 rows of flowers, alright, we have 1, 2, 3, and each one of those rows has 3 flowers. Alright, so what we're going to have to do, if we're combining groups, when we combine groups, that's going to be a form of multiplying. Alright, so if we have this 3, and 3 rows of flowers, we're going to have to multiply that by 3 to figure out how many flowers that they would have total. So I have 3 rows of flowers in the garden, each row has 3 flowers. This would be 3 times 3 because we're combining the groups of 3 in this situation. And finally, for our last situation, we have this here. Emilio and Jake share 4 comic books equally. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to figure out what operation this is showing. So if Emilio and Jake are sharing 4 comic books, this word sharing and this word equally, when that's together in a situation, that is normally a good clue that it's going to be a certain kind of operation. So here are the 4 comic books that Emilio and Jake are sharing equally. Whenever we see the word sharing equally, what that means is we're going to have to be dividing that up. Now, what are we dividing it by? We're taking that 4 and we're going to have to divide it by the 2 people that we have here, which is Emilio and Jake. So the number expression that would describe this situation is 4 divided by 2. Okay, now those past expressions that we were just practicing were pretty basic. They were 1 step. Now this situation that we're going to read here, it involves an extra step, which can become a little bit more concentrated, a little bit more difficult. What we need to do is we need to figure out, first off, the numbers that we're going to be using in this expression. We see the 25, the 10, the 8. It says Fred catches 25 fish. He releases 10 of them. He releases 10 of them, and then he catches 8 more. So we start with what we know. We know he caught 25 fish. Now, if he has 25 fish that he caught and he releases 10 of them, alright, that means that we're going to have to take away. He's sending them back in the water, he's releasing them. We're going to have to take away 10. And by taking away 10, we have to subtract 10 from that 25. From that point, we know that the next part says he catches 8 more. So if he has 25 and he releases 10, and then he catches 8 more, this more clues us in that we need to add the 8 more that he caught. And this is what our numerical expression should look like to match this situation. He has 25 fish, he releases 10, after that he catches 8 more. That would show you 8, but I would have to add the 8 onto the total that he had left after he released the 10. So that's an extra step involved. Could be a little bit more complicated, but if you break it down step by step, you should be able to be fine with that. Let's look at another example. Okay, now so let's take a look at this scenario. It says Nick has 25 pens. He gives 10 pens to one friend and 5 pens to another friend. So what I'm going to focus on in this situation here is the total pens that Nick wound up giving away. We know he starts with 25 pens, and he gives 10 pens to one friend and he gives 5 pens to another. Now, in order to figure out the total amount of pens that he gave away, I would have to take that 10 pens that he gave to one friend, and I have to add the 5 pens that he gave to the other friend, because that would give me the total pens he actually gave away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to group this 10 plus the 5, because before I solve the other part of this problem, I want to know how many he actually gave away. Now, if he wound up giving away the 10 plus the 5, which we know is 15, alright, we want to know how many pens he's left with. So if he gave away 15 pens, he started with that 25. In order to figure out how many pens he has at this point, after he gave the 15 away, I would have to add the 10 plus the 15, and then I would have to find the difference between the 25 and the 15 pens that he gave away. So the numerical expression that would match this situation would be 25 minus, and then 10 plus 5, which would be grouped together in parentheses. And that's how I would solve that. So now here's our next numerical expression. Next situation we have to create a numerical expression for. It says Timmy catches 15 fish and he gives 6 away for 3 days in a row. Okay, so I know that Timmy catches these 15 fish, and if he's catching these 15 fish and he's giving them away, he's giving 6 of them away, I know I would have to take away 6. Taking away means subtracting, so I would have to take 15 minus 6 to figure out how much he is winding up with in one day. So I'm going to group that together. I'm going to go 15 minus 6 to figure out how much he actually gets in one day. Once I solve this part of the expression, there's another part. He doesn't do it just for one day. He does it for 3 days in a row. So we know that in one day he would catch 9 fish. Now, the next part of that question asks, what if he did that for 3 days in a row? In order to figure that out, I need to take this and I need to multiply it by 3, because I don't want to just know what he did in one day. I want to know how many he caught in 3 days if this pattern continued. He caught the 15 fish, gave 6 away, he winds up with 9 for that day. So we need to know in 3 days how many he would have caught. We would take the 15 minus 6 times 3, and that would give us our expression to match this situation. Now we're going to take a look at a couple of scenarios, situations that are a little bit more involved. Let's take a look at this one here. I'm also going to show you how we're going to be able to use the multiple choice questions to eliminate answers we know that it can't be. So, of the 90 rainbow loom bracelets that Karen has, 55 are starbursts and 35 are fishtails. She gives Jackie 10 fishtails, and Jackie gives Karen 8 starbursts. Which expression can be used to find the number of bracelets Karen has now? Okay, so we know the numbers that we're working with here are the 35, the 10, the 55, the 8. And we could see that those are the numbers that are being used in the choices of each of these expressions. So we know that she started out with a total of 90. Now, 55 are starbursts and 35 are fishtails. Now, What we could see here, though, is that she gives Jackie 10 fishtails. We know she starts out with 35 fishtails. And now she's giving Jackie 10 fishtails. Well, what we need to do is we need to decide what expression is going to show that she had 35 and then she gave 10 away. We know from the practice that we just did that if she's giving them away, that this expression has to show subtraction. So we need to see an expression that shows 35 minus the 10. Now, if I have multiple choice, I'm able to use that as a guide to eliminating certain answers. I could see here A has 35 minus 10, so I'm going to leave that open to a possible answer. I could eliminate choice B because choice B has 35 plus 10. If she has 35 fishtails and she gives 10 away, I'm not going to be adding 10 to that total to see how much she has left. And I could also eliminate C, which also has 35 plus 10. Those are going to be out, and I'm left with A and D. Now, I need to take a look at the other part of this, because after Karen gives Jackie 10 fishtails, Jackie winds up giving Karen 8 starbursts. I go back and I look, I say, okay, Karen had 55 starbursts to start out. If Jackie gave Karen 8 starbursts, I know from my practice that we just did that if she's giving her 8 more, that has to show addition. A numerical expression has to show addition. So I'm also looking for 55 plus 8. Now, by process of elimination, I see this is 55 minus 8. I know that that cannot be the answer to this problem here, because what I'm left with is if she has 55 starbursts and Jackie gives Karen 8 starbursts, it has to show the 55 plus the 8. This has to show the 35 minus 10 because the 10 that she gave away. Now, if she had 55 starbursts and got 10 more, and she had 35 but she gave 10 away, if we combine those, we would know what Karen's total rainbow balloon bracelets would be. We don't need to know the answer to that part, but we do need to know the expression that is used to help us solve that. And that would be the 55 plus 8 plus 35 minus 10. Now, that's helpful when we have that multiplication, but we're not always going to have that multiplication. Let's look at one more example and see how we can figure out how we can come up with a numerical expression. Okay, so here we go. We have, of the 10 pieces of gum that Tom has, 6 are strawberry flavor and 4 are watermelon. He gives Dave 1 watermelon piece, and Dave gives Tom 2 strawberry pieces. What we have to do is we have to write an expression that he used to find the number of pieces that Tom has now. Well, I know that he started out with 10 pieces of gum. 6 of those were strawberry flavored. So we have 6 strawberry flavored and 4 watermelon. Now, he gives Dave 1 watermelon piece. He has 4 watermelon pieces to start out. He's giving Dave 1. I know from my rules that if he's giving 1 away, I need to take away that 1 from that 4 watermelon pieces of gum that he had. So that's the first part. That takes care of the 4 watermelon that he has and that he gives Dave 1. But now, here, Dave gives Tom 2 strawberry pieces. I know that Tom started out with the 6 strawberry pieces. If he's given 2 more strawberry pieces, I would have to add the 2 strawberry pieces to the 6 that he already had. Now what I need to do is I need to figure out how many pieces of gum that Tom has at this point. So if I had the 6 plus the 2, okay, that would give me the 8. That would give me the 8 strawberry pieces that he has. The 4 minus the 1 would give me the amount of watermelon pieces of gum that he had. Now, if we took those two numbers and we combined them, we added them together, that would get me the total number of pieces of gum that he has. So your expression for this should look like this. 4 minus 1 in parentheses grouped together plus the 6 plus 2. And that's how you would solve that problem. I hope you found this mini lesson on numerical expressions helpful. Watch it as many times as you like, and if you have any questions, boys and girls, make sure you ask me in class. Have a good day.